Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I took a short break which turned out to be a lot longer than planned, but a lot of stuff has been happening in Uganda. It is Crystal one-on-one time. I'm looking forward to chatting with someone special, and today we happen to be at GLAM Icon Salon, which is in Naguru. This is a month where we celebrate women. Women's Day was just a few weeks ago, and they have offered to do something special for me and my guest today. So how about we get comfortable and we get started. Now, you may have heard of a very beautiful location called Lamu. But today I'm talking to a beautiful young lady who is a talented songstress. Lamu joins me on Crystal One-on-One. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. How are you doing?
Fine.
Aha, Lamu, how many stories have you had to tell regarding your name or explain your name?
So many.
So many?
Yes. Because apparently it sounds like, in French, it sounds like love in French, l'amour. So whenever I'm talking to like French speaking people, they always like, you mean like love, like l'amour, like love? I'm like, no, just l'amour. Or people who have been to Lamu or know about Lamu, or people from Kenya, they're always like, oh, like, are you from like the port Lamu? I'm like, nah,
No.
just Lamu. And then I have to explain how Lamu comes, I don't know, together. So my real names are Ahlam, which is a Muslim Arabic name, Ahlam. My other name is Ismail, something I also have to explain a lot. It's like, why do you have a male?
Because, yeah, all the Ismails I know are men.
Yeah, but it has also saved me. I feel like that's a story. It's a whole other story.
Okay.
So my mom nicknamed me Lamu, and it picked on from childhood. I think until up to P4, I actually didn't know my real name was Ahlam.
So you thought your name was Lamu?
Yes, like I used to write Lamu.
Okay.
In my on my
You
papers.
said Lamu.
Yes.
That's okay.
Lamu or Lamu. Me, I'm used to Lamu, I guess. Yeah, Lamu. But yeah, I thought my real name was Lamu or Lamu. Okay, now you've confused me. But until I think up to P6, P7, that's when my mom and dad reminded me, you know, you have to write your real names. Your real names are Ahlam, and I was like, my whole life has been a lie. Wow. But yeah, so.
Okay, so it's your mom. It's your mom,
Yeah,
and the nickname stuck.
Yeah, and she has family in Mombasa from the coast. So I don't know how she came up with a name, but I guess she's cool. I don't know. So yeah, and
Okay, I like that. Your mom, you said your mom is from the coast?
yeah,
Because a lot of people think that you're not Ugandan. I know that you are Ugandan,
Yes.
but people think either you're from the coast, either Kenya or
Yes.
Tanzania.
yes,
So that comes from your parents.
that comes from my parents.
Okay, okay.
So I was born in Soroti, Uganda, Soroti, and I lived there for the first 10 to 12 years of my life. And then my dad retired. He used to work at the aviation school, Soroti Flying School.
Yes, yes.
So we had this he's Tanzanian, so we had this whole Tanzanian community, Tanzanian pilots and instructors in Soroti. So we grew up around that community. But I identify as Ugandan. My mom also is Ugandan. I've tried to think about myself as like a Tanzanian, like, okay, yeah, your dad is Tanzanian, your mom is mixed. It's a whole thing. So, you know, what do you identify as? And I identify as Ugandan. I've lived here my whole life.
Gone to
I've
school
studied
here.
All my friends are Ugandans. My siblings, I don't know. I'm Ugandan.
Okay.
It's sad that I don't look like Ugandan, like a Ugandan. So I'm always asked like, are you Ugandan? And now the fact that I also do like a different style of music, they're always like, no, she's not Ugandan. So it's
Because you're fluent in Swahili as well.
Yeah, because of the background, the Swahili background. And I know a bit of Luganda as well because my mom whenever she gets angry, she just screams in Uganda. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when you know, uh-oh, time to run
Yes.
and hide.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So, since Women's Day just happened a few days ago, Glam Icon Salon decided they wanted to treat us today. So,
Yay.
we'll be getting a pedicure done while we're chatting.
Nice.
Is that good?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. As you can see, we are in it right now, and our massage chairs are going as well. Try not to get sleepy before the end of this interview. Feels nice, right?
Really nice.
This is the life. This
Yeah.
is the life.
This is the life.
So tell me, are you the oldest, the youngest when it comes to siblings?
I'm actually the last born
You're the baby.
out of 6 children.
Uh-huh.
I'm the last born. I have 2 brothers and 3 sisters.
One
Yeah.
sister we know very well.
Yeah, one
Yes.
sister, Aisha, she was in radio for about 10 years, 8-10 years. She started after high school and worked at Capitol, I think KFM, all that, yeah. So,
And then she left, and now
and then,
she's...
yeah, now she's in forestry. Yeah.
Okay. So, did she baby you a lot?
Yeah.
Were you babied a lot as the last born?
I feel like it's weird. I was like babied, but also like ignored at the same time.
How does that work?
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you feel like everyone was just so busy with
Sometimes
what they were
people
doing?
were so busy, or maybe I just wanted so much attention. I don't know. I feel like sometimes we were really busy, and then not that I was babied, but I was also enabled,
Okay.
but not in a bad way. It has helped me like just have this space to grow as a person, and I feel like not everyone gets that. I have a space, and like I'm given time, and I'm understood, and I can just like grow into whoever I want to be. And I feel like if I was the firstborn, I wouldn't have that privilege, because there's so much pressure for the older kids to like, I don't know, finish
the
school
good
and
example
yes.
and,
But for me, it's a very different experience. Yeah, even the way my parents raised me, I was never hit, ever. Okay, my mom gave me a few slippers. I feel like African moms do that.
Yes,
Right? Like they have
you
to.
must taste the slipper.
Yeah, but
although we're doing things different now.
Dad
but
never disciplined nothing, and my sisters are even shocked. Like he talks to me, like we talk about like mental health, and they're like, no, Lamu, you're lying. I'm like, yeah, like he's really going to check up on me, and you know, I don't know. So it's a very different experience being the last born.
Yeah.
I feel like they learn from their mistakes, and
they kind of allow you to find your way.
yes, and they
give you
try
more
to
room.
do something different with me. So yeah.
Okay, so you said you grew up in sorority, so you started school in sorority. Where did you go?
So there's a school called Shalom. I think it's still there. I haven't been to sorority in 10 years.
Oh,
That
you should go back.
I wanted to go last year, but then the pandemic happened.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to go this year. Yeah, because even some of my nannies call and they're like, we need to see what. I really need to go back. But yeah, anyway, I studied in a school called Shalom for nursery and primary, and the school was near the flying school. And yeah, that's why I studied in sorority. The
Okay.
one school.
So the love for music, the love for singing, did it start back then? When did it rear its head? Or is it more than just singing, like stage
think- I wasn't really like that outgoing in school
Okay.
compared to my high school. Because high school I was more like in front of the stage, directing the what and things like that. But in primary, no, not really. But definitely that's where my love for music started. But it was through my siblings, because they all studied in Namasagali. And I feel like that's self-explanatory, right?
That foundation right there.
Yeah, because that school allowed them to model, I would see like pictures of them in bikinis, like at school.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bikinis, even remember the dresses,
Yeah,
and they were like this short
yes.
because they were. People look at it in different ways now, but one of the things, I have 2 siblings who went to Namasagali as well. It's like the confidence you came out of
Right.
that school with.
Right.
Because you'd rock your costume,
Right.
there was no wrapping a towel around yourself, and then you accepted, okay, this is me.
They were allowed to express themselves. Yeah, and I feel like you can tell a Namasagali student till now.
Yeah.
You just see and you know. Even if they are like a doctor or a lawyer, it's just something. There's just something.
Yeah.
So they used to come from school and like they would sing. My other brother would play the guitar. So there was always like a vibe. They would come with this like confidence and like they were, I don't know, they were just this energy around the house when they were around. And I would just watch them and I would want to be them. And I really wanted to join Namasagali. But by the time I finished P7, it was like a dead end.
Yeah, it was no more.
It was no more.
So where did you go for high school?
So after P7, by that time my dad had retired. He moved back to TZ. And I moved to Kampala for high school, and I joined Green Hill.
Green Hill.
I didn't want to go to TZ for school.
That was an option.
That was an option, like move with your with your parents, obviously. But I stayed in boarding school in Kampala.
So what would happen in the holidays?
Sometimes I would go, but then later on I started to stay with my elder sisters who are already independent. Yeah. Aisha, all my sisters, Amy, Anila, they were all independent. So I would live with them and then go like once for like 2 months for the Christmas holidays. Yeah. So that's how it worked.
Okay, so Green Hill, was that the whole O level and A level?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's when you started doing
I'm
stuff on
quite
stage.
loyal, right?
Well, I was in the same school, O and A level as well, so
Yeah.
I can relate.
But some people like move, like they
like
you
3,
really
4
don't
times, right?
7 times, like every year is a different school. Like
Who are your friends?
no,
7
seriously, I know
times.
people who have moved. Even my nephew has moved. I'm just like,
And we keep
I
trying to
pray for
find a
you.
fit, right?
I pray for you.
But if it's a school where you're comfortable and you're able to express yourself, that always helps a whole lot.
Yeah.
So what was your first memory, like when you were really on stage and you felt like, yes, I'm in the zone, I've nailed it?
Like professionally or just?
No, before we even went professional.
I think it was in Green Hill.
Uh-huh.
I think we were singing my version of Lion King that had to do with Green Hill in S1.
Okay.
Quite embarrassing.
Why is it embarrassing? It's part of the story.
I really hope people have forgotten because I haven't forgotten. I remember.
We need
I
to know
remember that
more.
performance.
Tell us what happened.
So I love Lion King. And one of the songs, I think it's called We Are One or something. It's originally, like in the movie, in the cartoon, it's sung by Simba and his daughter. And it's We Are One. They're talking about how we are one. So I thought it was really, really like creative of me to like alter it, make it about Green Hill, how we are like different like cultures and tribes and my teachers thought it was cool, but
It
the
sounds
students,
like it was cool.
The students were just like, that's not as cool as you think it is. But the teachers were like, wow, you can even write for us a new like school anthem. Like I was about to write a new anthem for the school.
And you were like, okay.
Never happened. But yeah, that was nice.
The fact is, we remember it.
Yeah.
And it will stand out for a long time.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so when did you decide or begin to understand that you wanted to sing professionally?
It took me a while.
You fought it?
Yeah. A while.
Okay.
A very, very long time. And I hate to use the word, but it's one of the things I regret. It's like, you should have believed in yourself earlier on and you should have gone for it, you know? But then I guess things happen for a reason. Like everything has its timing. I guess I had to learn some things before, you know? yeah, being exposed to this industry. You know, maybe I had to be.
Maybe you weren't ready then.
Maybe I
also.
wasn't ready. Yeah.
But when did, like, who, well, your friends talking about it? Who, was someone
No,
encouraging you?
I mean, it was never an option. And I've said it so many times. For me, it was never an option. It was never an option. Even as a kid, I used to sing, I was always trying to like send a message, you know, like guys. And no one ever like said, yeah, like you sing.
Because of your family?
My family, maybe my neighbors, but it was never in that like, how do I say it? It was never from that point of view of you can actually sing, like this is something you could do. It was always like, yeah, you sing, full stop. So as growing up, I never imagined myself to actually take it on as a career. And it sounds sad, but it's not really sad, but it happened, right?
Yeah.
My options were always like do medicine, you know, that's like the only way that you're gonna make
So
something
did you want
of your
to
life.
be a doctor at some point?
I mean, I was good at school, and I like really did my best to like pass school, stay in school, be disciplined, you know, come home with good results. And then I really love animals. Like I've always loved like chickens, like I've always I've always kept chickens and weird animals, right? So I figured
As pets?
Yeah.
Okay. Did we name them?
Yes.
Okay,
My first chicken was called Kut Kut. I know I'm going to come off like as a very weird person.
No.
Like who keeps chickens? I've heard that Mexicans keep chickens as pets.
As pets. Lots
Yeah.
of people do.
Anyway, so
Kut.
yeah. But so I loved animals. So I figured, you know, if you're going to do something, at least do something you love, right? If you're gonna do medicine, let it be about like animals or help animals, zoology, something like that. So I wanted to be a vet. Like I think later on in primary, beginning of O-level, it was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a veterinary doctor. And then I remember I met one of Aisha's friends, and he was, so she's like, oh, this is Mr. So-and-so, and I'm like, hi. So they had this tendency of like always introducing me as, this is my little sister, this is my
baby
daughter,
sister.
yeah, and she's going to be a doctor. So it became my identity.
Whoa. That is a bit of pressure.
Yeah,
I don't think our families realize they do that.
They don't realize. It became my identity. So it was already like stamped on me, right? It was like, that's how I was always introduced. This is so and so. This is your cousin. She wants to be a doctor. It's like, so it was always a thing. It was always right there. So now this person already sees you. And I also noticed something, like they had this instant respect for me.
Okay, because
whenever they would,
she knows what she wants in life. She's focused.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, so you know, you're doubting, but like this could be a thing. Like you could have this for life. You could have people respect you and look up to you. Who doesn't want that, right?
Yeah.
So maybe this is something you need to do. And when she introduced me as a veterinary, like I wanted to be a veterinary doctor, he told me, he's like, in Africa. I'm like, yeah, you won't make money. So that's the first time money now also came into the picture. It's like, oh, I have to do something, not just because I love it, but because I have to make money.
I remember talking to a vet, and he's like, you know what, all these TV shows now, all these doctors, vet doctors, and it looks so glamorous. It's like, the truth is, most of the time, you're with cows, you're with sheep, goats, your hand is all the way up somewhere trying to pull out a calf. It's nothing like the glamour that most people think. So, yeah, I can imagine.
I mean, I really don't think medicine in general is, because you're working with sick people, dying people, your patients die, but we have glamorized it so much. But I don't think that's the reality. Even as a cardiologist, a surgeon, you know, someone's life is in your hands. It's not about being a celebrity and like going on red carpet and taking pictures, although that also might have its own like,
maybe it's space somewhere. But yeah, you're right, the emotional toll is like heavy. It's really, really heavy. So when did you like dawn on you that, okay, maybe after that conversations when I'm like, I don't want to...
So I switched now to I was like, okay, so what do you like? And I think we were studying something in biology about like the circulatory system and the blood and veins and the heart, and like I felt like really like I understood it. So I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna be a cardiologist. And that was like now another bounce. It's like, you want to be what? What's that? It's like I would be a heart doctor, a heart surgeon. And I really, really loved like the reaction people would have. Like
When you would say that.
yes, like I can't even explain to you how they would like instantly respect me, a 13-year-old, instantly respect me, instantly trust that I know what I'm doing.
Got 13.
Yes.
Okay.
And that just kept going.
Also for a few more years.
Yeah,
Into
even
high school.
in school, I had a lab coat that said Dr. Ismail, and it was my identity.
Oh, wow.
It was my identity. But I used to try. I used to MC like my sister. I used to like try and do other things. I used to try and do MDD. I used to try and do like creative things because that's who I am. But it was never an option.
Okay.
It
So
was
even
never
in terms of family or
it
your
was
parents?
even friends, because now with friends, I never portrayed myself as someone who wanted to do these other things. I never said, you guys, I actually want to be a star, or I want to like, I never like. So I don't blame my friends and I don't blame my family too, because I took on the identity, and just said, this is what I'm gonna go with.
So they must be shocked then.
Until after high school, and I got my first job in Essex Back. I was working for Hello Food, now Jumia Food, and I was so excited. And they were paying really well. I mean, in Uganda especially, someone right out of Essex, I was getting 720. Between 680, 720, depending on the work I've done.
That's good money.
Good. I wasn't paying rent. I wasn't doing anything.
It was your money to enjoy.
It was mine. And trust me, we used to blow it in like 2 days
Oh, no.
at Centenary Park.
Oh, no.
Yeah, throwing parties, celebrating nothing, literally.
Anyway.
But yeah, so I don't know. Just life started getting real, and like I started like questioning everything, and this is like the sad part of my story. Like I just didn't feel happy.
Okay.
I felt very sad. I felt very sad and very bad. And I was like, are you just being ungrateful? Are you just being a brat? Because you have a good life, You don't have like the best life, but like you have a good life. And I kept having these conversations with myself. You have a family that loves you. Some people don't. You have friends, you have you have like a list. I kept trying to do that whole gratitude thing, but I just wasn't happy.
So you felt like what? You just
something
was off. Was missing.
Yes. And I guess long story short, it got to a point where like I started imagining myself like, okay, so you're gonna do 6 to 10 years of medical school as you had originally planned. I had this whole plan for my life, like I'll be done by 34 and I'll be like a resident cardiologist. I had like this whole plan. After 6 years, I'm gonna add this how many years, and then this how many years, and then like I had this whole plan. And
so
then
you could see it in your mind.
Yeah.
What you wanted to do.
But it wasn't like that. It was just like, yeah, like this is how I'm supposed to do it, and this is how I'll do it. I never actually thought about how hard I would have to work.
Yeah.
All the things I would have to overcome. I never thought about that. It was just like, yeah, it's a goal and I have to achieve it. Like there's nothing else really to it. But then I started to think about like, like what kind of, like these deep questions, just like what kind of life do you want to live? What kind of person do you want to be?
So you're in Essex back.
Yeah.
You have a job. You're making some good money.
This was after the job actually. It was because during Essex back we were doing a lot of partying. We had this freedom. My mom would call, Aisha would call, and I'm like, who cares? Like who cares? We've been good our whole lives. Like, can we just have a break and before real life starts again? So we're having fun. I think when it was coming to the end. It was coming to the end of that Essex back, and people were applying, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to go to med school, force my parents, who aren't like extremely rich, they're gonna struggle to put this like fees, and I'm applying to schools that are paying like 4,000 euros or 16,000 euros, etc., etc. Even just in Uganda here, med school isn't cheap, right?
No, it's not.
You're not gonna go because like you're not even sure and then drop out. And I actually saw that happen with so many of my friends. And I really didn't want that. Like I didn't want to do that. So I was like, I don't know, I feel like I knew like maybe in third year I was just gonna give up. I just had that feeling. But then how do you come out?
How do you have that conversation?
How do you start? Yeah, how do you start telling people? Because, like, how?
Okay.
From nowhere. Like, how do you just start telling people this is not what I want?
So who did you first talk to about it?
I didn't. And I don't think I've ever, like, talked about this on camera, actually. But I think this is, like, the perfect place, I guess. Because you've asked. No one really asks, you know? People are just like, how are you? Who dressed you? And what's your new song about? But, like, I left home.
You left home?
I left home.
Okay.
I left home for like a year and a half, almost 2 years, because I couldn't face these people. And deep down, I wanted to blame them, but deep down I knew it wasn't their fault. I took up this identity. I could have stopped this whole thing a long time ago and said, guys, you're getting too carried away, that's not what I want, you know? But I took it up and I was wearing these lab coats and I was putting it out there, like, you know, I was really, but then I was like, how?
You couldn't face.
Yeah, and then also the other thing was, okay, so you don't want to do, and I remember talking to Aisha because she's like my guardian, she's like my second mom. And I'm like frustrated, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. And she's like, okay then, so what do you want to do? And then that's the other thing, it's like,
I don't know yet.
I don't know, like, I don't know. And it's like, then just do what you have to do, like, why are you being so emotional about it? So it was like a very weird time. Everything in my life felt like...
So you were still working when
no,
you were home?
I was out of work. And I tried to like do businesses, actually.
Okay.
There's this friend of mine, we used to call him T.I. And he's one of like those, he was actually my age, but he was like those wise people, because he used to sell like apples in school.
Oh, and make some money then.
Yeah, and they used to sell like Rolexes and like meat pies and samosas in school, and he was really, really like creative with like business ideas. He went to I think ShopRite or something, one of those big supermarkets, and they were having this sale for like the tiny like ketchup things. So he bought the whole thing and he brought it to school and he sold it during break time, and he made so much money.
No way.
So much money. And he did it for like 2 years. Like he was selling ketchup.
Okay.
The little ketchup thingies. Yeah, he was selling them for 500. And like we needed that. Like because like we were eating meats and things. Like,
And you wanted something extra.
yeah, and then lunchtime he's going to, like on a hot day, he's going to sell really cold apple things. He would take them to like the school fridges, and he was very creative.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started to like hang around him and stuff, and he was like, you know what? Since you're still figuring this out, let's do something. So we tried to do like businesses and stuff like that. I helped him open a restaurant, all those things. We invested, made a lot of mistakes. I didn't have money to invest, but I guess my ideas and my time really helped, because I would run around and do all that and give the ideas. This is how we can do this better and all those things. Yeah, we lost money, we made mistakes. And then, I don't know, I just had to go back home at some point.
You finally decided, okay, this is not working.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, you know what? I just woke up one day and I just felt like my life was a mess. And I just remembered, you know, Lamu from sorority, like she used to just do things, and she really thought her life was going to be this amazing life, right? And I felt like I failed her.
Oh.
Yeah. So I went back home.
Who did you call?
Aisha. And she told me stop being emotional, and then she gave me food, because I didn't eat it in like 2 days.
Oh no.
Yeah. That was a weird time of my life. Yeah.
So you were trying to go it on your own.
Yeah, because I couldn't face anyone And when you're independent, you don't have to face anyone, you know? You don't have to explain yourself. You don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went back home.
I went back home and I had to explain myself. Yeah. And it took a while because they all thought it was a phase. So before I left home, I was dating someone and it was a really like toxic relationship. So there's like this guy's sister also was dating another guy who's like a rapper, right?
Okay.
A Ugandan rapper, and so they asked me to like go to studio and sing a chorus for them. I guess it just needed like someone they wouldn't charge, like just for free, right? They're like, oh, we know you sing from school and stuff. Just come in and do like a hip hop like chorus for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So and the song is called "Power of the Herb," actually, featuring KSL. No, KSL featuring me. So I went to studio and I was like, turn off all the lights. I was just like,
You were terrified.
yeah, turn off all the lights and stuff. I was like dreading how I was going to sound and all that. So he actually helped me write. He's like, you could sing it like this, because I was just like, I don't know what to do. And then he's like, you could do it like this, sing it like this. I guess he was singing it, but because he doesn't have a singing voice, he's like, just make it your own. So I go in there and I'm just like, I do it, and then they play it, and it sounded good.
You're like, that's me. I can't
was
believe that's me.
like, I was like,